Sikkim 365 and Baylor Plus have teamed up to bring Baylor fans the ultimate content bundle. You can sign up now for $17.99 a month, a $5 monthly savings, and get instant access to all premium content on both websites. For more information, visit either sikkim365.com or baylorplus.com today.
Welcome into Inside Baylor Sports. I'm your host, Grayson Grunhafer, and today I'm joined by Justin Hoff. We're going to talk a little bit about Baylor's upcoming matchup against UConn, and then at the end of the show, we're also going to talk to Baylor men's basketball forward Norchad Omier. Justin, a big matchup this week for the Bears. They're taking on a UConn team that's won back-to-back national championships, but also a UConn team that has found themselves to have a little bit of a losing problem in recent weeks as they struggled in Maui and dropped 3 straight games. What do you think about this matchup going into it that had so much hype in the offseason? Maybe some of that has gone away a little bit.
Yeah, I think some of the offseason you might have had a little bit like Baylor Gonzaga 2021 vibes, in this December matchup. But, hey, it's Big 12, Big East battle. Obviously really important for the Big 12 to win this game and Baylor to do their part. I think it's going to be a really good atmosphere. The second true road game for Baylor will not be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But I think, Grayson, if they can get off to a good start, defend the 3 better, and just let this offense kind of go, because we know it's one of the best offenses in the country. They'll be there at the end, and I think that you can't ask for much more than that on the road against a top 25 opponent. Be there at the end and hopefully make enough plays to win.
Absolutely. So just a little bit of kind of a rundown with KenPom rankings. So Baylor is currently 23rd in the nation, 5-2 on the season. Per KenPom, they have the number 8 offense and the number 74 defense. On the flip side, UConn is sitting right one spot behind them at number 24. They're 5-3, offensive rating number 6, defensive rating number 83. So I think clearly we have 2 teams that are actually very similar in the way that they've started this year. Very good on offense, some really good players. They rely on a couple of freshmen, which I find interesting as well. But in general, both have struggled defensively and are still kind of finding themselves on that side of the floor.
Yeah, and they have a good mix of some transfers. They got Aiden Mahaney from St. Mary's. Kind of surprised that he seems to be struggling. Only 16 and a half minutes, relying on the freshman more, as you said, just 5 points to 2 assists for him. He was supposed to be a big-time transfer. Terrace Reed, another transfer from Michigan. He's their starting center. But Liam McNeely, one of the key guys, one of the freshmen for them, and then Alex Caravan. We'll see if he plays. He had a bit of an injury out there in Maui. And, most of the time, Grayson, you go out to Maui and good vibes and good things happening. But that was a rough trip for UConn. Obviously, Alex Caravan, he was a returning starter from last year's national championship team, one of the leaders of this group. But out in Maui, they lost to Memphis, who's now top 25, Colorado, of course, in the Big 12 now, and Dayton. So it was a rough stretch for them. There's 8 teams out in Maui. They finished 8th. And so clearly they are hungry. They did play Maryland Eastern Shore on Saturday and won that 99-45. I'm glad they got maybe some of that aggression out on that game, but they know it's a big game. And I think Baylor's going to get UConn's best. It was, it's interesting. You got 2 great coaches here going head to head too, and 2 guys that have been in the headlines the last couple of years, with other jobs and different things like that, and national championships. So 2 of the best going head to head. Should be a great showdown.
Absolutely. I was pretty shocked by Dan Hurley's kind of outbursts during the Maui Invitational. And, I understand that games, if they're not going your way, or if you feel like the refs are, maybe, going to the other side a whole lot more than they are you, I understand there's reasons to be upset, but I truly do think it costs them in that tournament because, yeah, you lost the first game, whatever, but I feel like that team kind of let it impact them throughout the entire rest of that tournament, especially the Dayton game where they just kind of no-showed for that game. I'm very curious how that got adjusted, whether it's, from the top down or from just the players playing better. But I think in general, the main thing that I've taken away from Hurley is this team's not where he wants it to be, especially on the defensive end. I mean, he was calling them out for it as well. So I find that to be rather fascinating. And you mentioned Aiden Mahaney, who is supposed to be such a good player for them this year, not playing a lot. And some of that is probably due to defense. I mean, because they're already bad defensively, and he's a good offensive player, but not the best defensive player. So I'm curious if that's played a role in some things. But clearly, just like Baylor, they're still trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, and this is a big stretch for UConn, obviously focused here on Baylor and hoping for a great result, but a big stretch for them. I mean, they play Baylor, and then they have to travel to Austin to play the Longhorns on Sunday, and then they're taking on Gonzaga next week, and then they start Big East play on December 18th. And so we know that conference is really strong, a little down this year, Marquette being the only ranked team in the Big East outside of UConn. But, yeah, this is a really important game for both teams. And for Baylor, you have a stretch coming up here where this is really your final top 25, non-conference opponent. And so you love to kind of get this one and then work on the rest of your team, right? I still think there's a piece to this team. They're still relatively new, right? You got a lot of pieces, even though Norchad, Jeremy, Jaden Nunn, and some others are upperclassmen. They just haven't played together enough. And so we've said it many times that, hey, the start of the season for Baylor, they're going to be a different team come March. And obviously health is a factor there. Langston Love getting back to 100%. But, this is a game these are the kind of games, Grayson, that really help you on the seed line, right? And you want to get these, especially for Baylor being on the road. This would be a really big win for the Bears.
It really would be. And, I mean, you look at Baylor's schedule, like a 3-game streak after this that they should handle with relative ease before conference play begins. So this is kind of your last opportunity to really try to make up some ground in the non-conference from, 2 good losses, but the way you lost them, not so good. And so you do have to counter that by winning some games. They did that with the St. John's game, but now going into this one, this is kind of that last opportunity for them to kind of make a statement. And I think most people would agree that UConn's probably going to figure it out. But I also think most people would agree that right now they haven't figured it out. And so that should give Baylor an opportunity here to potentially make some noise, potentially pull off an upset. And, unlike the 2 games against Gonzaga and Tennessee, where they had to play 2 teams that I feel like are very complete already and kind of already peaking very early in the season, clearly 2 of the probably top 5 most impressive teams so far in the non-conference. UConn is not that. UConn is more like where St. John's was at a little bit earlier in the year, and Baylor was able to take care of business there. So we'll see if they can do it. Either way, it's a tough road matchup, tough road environment, should get Baylor prepared for Big 12 play as well. You mentioned these games after this. I think it's going to be vitally important that they get Langston Love more integrated into the rotation. He's kind of just working his way back. So we'll see kind of how that progresses over these next few weeks before conference play begins. And then, of course, they need to figure out defense because that is what has been holding them back so far this season.
Yeah, and you think about, hey, you want to advance in March, you're going to have to find ways to play strong defense. Not that you need to be a top 10 defense. Obviously, that'd be great to have that. But there's balances, right? You go stronger on the defense. You might give up some on offense. Are you taking more chances defensively, trying to turn teams over, maybe on the perimeter? Are you doing more things there? It's going to be interesting to watch this team. But I will say, hey, the 2 freshmen, VJ Edgecombe and obviously Rob Wright, have been really impressive. Just 7 games in, doing things that most freshmen aren't doing. I'm excited to watch their progress over the next couple months. I think when you get to March, I think those players could be different players. And then really got to give a shout out to Jaden Nunn. I think Jaden Nunn has taken another step. His second year in the program, obviously transfer from VCU, averaging right now 12.9 points per game, 1.7 steals, which I like that one. We know defensively he's a guy that can make a difference, but his shooting from outside right now, shooting 49%, Grayson. This is a team right now that's shooting 38% from 3. I think that's going to be a key. That's going to be a key for this team. Obviously, defensively, they're going to work to get better, but we know that this team loves to shoot the 3 ball. And when you're shooting and you got the kind of shooters that this team has, that can make a major difference in the season. So I think Jaden Nunn is a guy to keep an eye on, where year 2 for him, he looks to be much improved and could be definitely one of the X factors as the season goes on.
Absolutely. And he's kind of been just, when you go look at numbers, most times guys who shoot the 3-point ball well, they shoot free throws well. And Nunn is at 67% shooting the free throw from the free throw line. So that hasn't been great. And really this whole team is at 70.5% at the free throw line, which is a little shocking. Especially given the fact that, Jeremy Roach, such a good free throw shooter at Duke. He's kind of struggled in that area. VJ Edgecombe has struggled at the free throw line. Rob Wright is under 80% at the free throw line. So that's an area that I also think they need to improve on. Norchad is a career 70% guy, and he's right on that right now. So that's pretty much what you're going to get probably from him. And he's going to go to the free throw line the most of anyone on this team. But all those guards that get to the free throw line, they got to take advantage of those opportunities. I think this number needs to be up in that 75, 76, 77% range for this team to really accomplish their goals. And truthfully, it almost cost them against St. John's. So they got to figure out a way to correct that. And going into this game against UConn, high pressure situation, you got to be able to knock down the free throws. I'm happy you mentioned Jaden Nunn, though, because he is playing really well. And with Langston Love still working his way back, they really needed this kind of performance from him early in the season. And he's absolutely given it to him. I've loved seeing that. He's definitely improved. You're right about the young guys, curious about the steps they take, and another potential road test for them to grow up even more and continue to take that step in the right direction. So with all that said, Justin, you look at this UConn game, who do you got winning? Do you got a score prediction for us?
I'm taking the Bears. Okay. I think your free throw point is big. And I think, hey, if they can get it to 75%, that would be critical. I think under 5 minutes, those are the free throws you got to make, right? You kind of forget about some you missed in the first half. The under 5 minutes, particularly with the guards, I think they're going to, hit 10 plus threes, I think, in this game. I think they're going to need the 3 ball. I would say probably upper 70s. So I might go with a 78-75 Baylor win on the road, which would be a big one. And, Christmas hasn't come around just yet, but that'd be a nice gift and get vibes really good for the month of December.
It definitely would. And this feels like a game that's kind of been circled on both these teams' calendars before the season started. I know Baylor's had some struggles against some of the top teams they've played. This feels like a moment to kind of get right and really put together a good performance, a full, complete game. UConn's probably going to be upset. They're probably going to come into this game with a lot of excitement to try to get this win, but I just don't think they're playing at the level that even Baylor is playing at so far this year. I think UConn will get there, but I don't think they're quite there yet. So I'm going to take Baylor as well. I think Baylor's going to score 80 points in this game. So I'm going to take Baylor 80-77, a high-scoring game. But I'm going to take the Bears to win this one as well. Should be a lot of fun, though. It'll be on FS1, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to check that out. But now, Justin and I have an interview with Norchad Omier coming up, so enjoy. We're now joined by Baylor men's basketball forward Norchad Omier. Norchad, what's going on, man? You excited to get ready to go play a tough road matchup against UConn?
Definitely. I'm just thankful to be here, first of all. Thank God for being in this program, with these coaches and players. And I'm definitely excited, to go play UConn on the road. We this schedule for this season being tough already. And, it just get better. And, I'm excited for that.
Awesome. When you kind of think about, what y'all have gone through this season, how much do you think these early season tests have prepared you for this kind of matchup against a team that I know is struggling, but still a very, very talented team?
Yeah, just as you said, they're a very talented team. And, the great competition at the beginning of the season definitely prepares us for this because, we being a team that is a bunch of new players, first time playing with each other, it's good that it's a bunch of old guys too. We also have great freshmen, but this early competition prepares for times like this. Hopefully, this game even make us better for the future for conference play and so on and so on.
This will be the 5th top 25 opponent you guys have played already this season. Pretty wild to think about. What's that like, knowing that you've had this stretch, and kind of to go off of Grayson's point, maybe what have you learned about your team playing these tough opponents so far this season?
Well, what I learned from my team, that they're resilient, that, that they get up when we are good at punching back. That's what I wanted to say, that we are really good at punching back. Someone punches, we punch them back, and, we don't just give up, What I learned also, that the recruiting at Baylor is true. That Coach Drew told me when I came on my visit that, we don't duck no smoke, that we want to play everybody. We want to play the best teams in the country, and so far it being true. So what he said is true.
Norchad, you've played on a lot of teams, and multiple of them have been really good. But one thing I do have a question about so far this year is, the defense has struggled at this point. Have you been on past teams that maybe struggled early in the year defensively, but then got better as the season went on?
Yes, definitely. That Miami team, that Final Four team, like, we were figuring out stuff the whole season. And there was a point in the season that everything just clicked. Everybody just, we were like on a rope. Someone moved this way, everybody moved this way. And I think we still have room to get to that point. And I think everybody is willing, everybody want to do it. So I feel like we're in a good spot.
Offensively, things are clicking, top 10 in KenPom. And, I think offensively and your rebounding, you're just a double machine. I wanted to ask you about that. So I know you're really talented offensively, but you're rebounding. When did you first realize that, man, I'm pretty good at this rebounding thing?
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. I got to give it to God. He gave me that talent that is just since I know myself, playing in Nicaragua, I not even know rebounding was something great. Then I came to the U.S. and did that, and everybody was just like, "Oh, you are such a great rebounder." So all I can say is all glory to God for that.
I mean, it's easy to look at the stats and just kind of talk about the fact that you've been you've averaged a double-double every single year in college, but what specifically have you really grown in your game since you got to Baylor?
Yeah, I think probably I've been a better passer. I still got to fix up some stuff, but getting out the ball, people doubling the post, finding the shooter, I think that's a way that I have get better in my game, and I still have room to improve, and I want to improve.
Now, Norchad, you would never do this. Some jokes with the broadcasters sometimes where you're padding the stats, you throw up a ball, you get a rebound, you get another rebound. You would never do that. And by the way, what makes, if someone's out there listening, what makes a great rebounder?
Instant. That's what I would say. Instant. Because I don't think a lot. It just happened. They shoot the ball. I think you're going to go here. I trust my instinct. I trust my gut. So I think instant. And, being tough. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Being tough, love the contact, love physicality, and great instinct.
So Baylor brought in two, really, really high-profile transfers with yourself and Jeremy Roach this offseason. Obviously, Jalen Celestine too. What makes Baylor so special, you think, to transfer portal guys and to recruits nationally?
I think the culture, it's just the people that they bring in they attract more people here. Good people, great coaches. They're not just good basketball people. They are good people in general, and that make people want to come around them, learn from them, hang with them, and, be great like them.
Plus, you got that multi-million-dollar facility, the practice facility, the locker room. Tell us about that. What's that been like to experience that in first season? I mean, heck, you got to open that thing up.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for that because it's amazing. Just like how you said it, it's impressive. I mean, I've been around some NBA facilities. This is right up there with that. So I'm just thankful to be here. This is top of the top.
So we've talked a little bit about some of the older guys, but I mean, there's two freshmen that are playing a lot of minutes for y'all this year with Robert Wright and VJ Edgecombe. What have you seen from those two guys since you got to Baylor, and how much growth have you seen from them already, at the early going of the season?
Yeah, I'm just impressed with them. The work the work ethic they got. Like I see them in the gym all the time, putting shots up. Like they want to learn, they want to get better every day. And, you know, I just tell them, I tell them this every day. Like when I was a freshman, I was not even close to this. So like your ceiling is super high. Like you are so smart for your age, like the amount of minutes. Like it's just amazing.
I wanted to ask you about Langston Love, obviously playing with him for the first time. Baylor fans know him well. He's obviously getting back up to full strength. What's Langston been like to play with, practice, work around, and what can he bring to the table throughout the rest of the season?
A great guy. I think I speak for the whole team, but we're so happy that he's back on the court with us. We've been waiting, you know. Like, I know I just been here 1 year, but I hear stories. I know what he been through injury-wise. So, like, you know, such a great player. We want him to be to full strength. And, you know, we definitely going to be a totally different team when he's at 100%.
You know, when you lose to some really good teams like y'all have lost to, and a couple of those were, the score was a little bit lopsided. When you go back into the locker room, what's kind of the consistent message, from the coaches and from the players about, how y'all need to improve and where y'all can go?
Stay together. That's the consistent message. Stay together. Do not pull apart. We're going to figure it out. We are a new team, a new coaching staff. Stay together. We're going to figure it out.
For this team, I know you're one of the leaders on the team, Norchad. What's that like to have that responsibility and where?
It means a lot. Guys look up to me. I look up to a lot of the guys too. I told them that a couple of days ago. So, just trusting each other, It just mean a lot knowing that, all this Jeremy, a great older guy, great player, Jaden Celestine, Langston, like they look up to me, that give me a great responsibility to practice hard every day, give my best effort, and just do whatever it takes to win. So, like, it means a lot to me.
There are moments that every good team has throughout the season, and it can be low moments or high moments. But how important do you think that St. John's win was for y'all to come through in the clutch and really just make big shot after big shot and also fight your way back to a win?
Definitely important, because I think that show everybody the resilience we have, even though we were the one doing it, but it proved us that we can do great things, that if we don't give up, we work hard and we stick together, that we are capable of anything we want to.
Really, the second true road game coming up here, obviously the Gonzaga one to start the season, 5:30, Fox Sports 1. You think about these games, taking kind of the energy out of the fans. How important is the start for you guys? Obviously, all 40 minutes are important, but getting off to a fast start and settling in.
That's the most important. That's what we've been focusing on the most. Because even the St. John's game, we had a slow start. Gonzaga game, definitely slow start. Against Tennessee, a slow start. So that's one of the main focuses in practice right now. Have a good start, because we've been having really good second half, but like we lost the game in the first half. So like focus on being ready, being locked in, and just handle business.
Awesome. Well, Norchad, thank you so much for joining us, man. And for Justin, Hoff, and I, this has been an awesome show. So have a great week, everyone. And
appreciate you guys.